Hello and welcome to today's video. This time we're taking a look back at the Penguin Collectors Society annual AGM. This was on the 7th of September 2024 at the Maynard School in Exeter in the UK, and set in the sports hall, in actual fact, of the school in question. And it was a very, very nice morning. Not a spot of rain to be seen, and pretty early on we started setting up in the sports hall. Once all the tables had been popped out and the chairs pulled out of storage, we were able to get our stock out, and people started browsing, and all the early attendees pretty much had a table with their spare Penguin books on, and I was no exception. I brought all my spares along, and so did my friend Matt there. So Matt was getting rid of his granddad's selection of books. And Matt had predominantly books 1 to 500, and I had 500 to 2,500, which is as far as I've got up to sorting mine, and a selection of other bits and pieces as well. Matt also brought along a few boxes of Penguin specials. Here we have a table display for the rather wonderful Penguin First Editions website. Now, if you've not checked this site out, I think it's absolutely indispensable. And I'm sure all the big collectors know of this one just as a reference tool. I reference it multiple times each week, and I think it's a fantastic resource. And a few tables here, like individual tables in the middle of the sports hall. Here's Andrew Mallon here. He's in the process of setting up his spare bits and bobs. Some stalls didn't have too much on, other stalls were absolutely packed. Here's a fair pile of society publications on this particular stall. Big pile of Penguin scores, some Puff and Picture books, classics. Lots of good stuff there. Newsletters at £1 each, which is great. Now this is Tim Graham's stall. He had some absolutely fantastic stuff on offer. And I did hear that there's a complete catalogue. 125 that one was. I actually sold that one on the day. Some very rare Puffin books, Puffin building books, Puffin picture books. I think these are being sold on commission, I think he said. And he did also mention that there is a new catalogue on the way, much awaited. But had some very interesting stuff there. A few bits I wish I'd grabbed when I saw them because they were gone later in the day. Sort of typical. Some stuff on Joe Pearson's stall there. Some excellent books. Had a few bits and pieces off Joe. Always has a good selection of stuff. And I said pretty much everyone who turned up had a few bits and pieces to offload, their doubles or trebles. And there was lots of really well-priced stuff. No one was going over the top price-wise. Now, this is fantastic. This is from, we'll have a look at that in a moment. I just finished looking at her store. Caroline, who does the social media for the society, had a selection of promotional material. And she showed me this one, so we had a little look through. It's the original promotional pack for Funeral in Berlin. So Penguin flew a lot of reps and key clients over to Berlin for the launch. And there was also a private showing of the movie with Len Deighton in attendance. And they really went to town on this, and it was quite rightly a great seller in its day. But so much related bits and bobs and memorabilia in this particular folder. Very, very nice indeed. Not something you see every day. Absolutely fantastic. There he is. A real treat to see that. I said, just not something that you see every day. And that was right back from the 60s. There's a little letter from Penguin inviting that particular person to come along. Yeah, 1966. And here's more. Here's inviting them to the premiere. This is the Funeral in Berlin premiere of Michael Caine. There's the almost iconic bit of 60s iconography. It all seems to be there. What a fantastic selection of stuff. How incredible, eh? And by now, you know, the few people had started coming in. There were not all Penguin Collectors Society members. A few people had seen my videos online. And when we had the go-ahead to say anyone could really turn up, we were very, very busy for a while. With people coming and looking at filling wants lists and plugging those gaps. And a nice mix of ages as well. And I think it's really good to see some younger people getting into the hobby to keep it, you know, keep it vibrant. That's definitely what we want. That's Ben there. He's a fairly new collector to vintage penguins. Filling his boots by the look of it. And it was really good, a really great atmosphere, and really good to meet so many fellow collectors. But yeah, I couldn't quite bring all my spare penguins. The car was full. I had another couple of boxes I had to leave at home. But that's how it goes. I was very grateful for all the space to lay it all out and not have to squeeze it all up. So it made it really shoppable for people. So I very much appreciated all the room. I was chatting to someone because I actually thought it was about 20 years ago since I'd last gone to a penguin meeting, but it was actually 1996 at Wandsworth Museum in London. Now this is great. These are the Mischief earrings with a Mischief book. Look at that. So that's the book that the earrings are modelled on. Absolutely fantastic. But yeah, so it was about 20 years. It was 1996. So amazingly, 28 years ago since I'd last gone to one of these. So I really can't believe it. But there was a few people there who were also at that same show, and they can remember it. It was absolutely being in London. It was absolutely buzzing that day. There's a little bit more of Tim's store. The little plastic penguin book covers, a couple of pounds each, 3 for a £5. These were good as well. This is the push out or cut out book for Hamlet, scenes from the film. We'll have a look at one. I did pick one of them up. This one I regret leaving behind. It was the 2-pack. I used to have this one, and I opened them when my boy was young, and he promptly destroyed them. Some penguin prints there, some services editions, some great stuff, as you would expect from Tim. Australian books as well. And the odd Argentinian. That's a nice, I think it's, was it 1946 or was it 1936? But a very, very early, I think it's 1936, a very, very early order form. Don't see those very often. And then some more up-to-date books. And I said Tim had this fantastic run of Puffin picture books. Absolutely superb. I've not seriously got into collecting these yet. There's a very scarce foreign one. But now that I've got my list up to date, I might start digging in a little bit more. And a few other bits and pieces. These were a real find. So these are mid-1950s Penguin mailer boxes. So they're origami style. There's 3 different. Just £1 each. So I picked up 5 sets. And there we are. The Wandsworth Museum event, 1998 it was. So 26 years ago was the last time I went to one of these. If you can believe it. Now a little bit more detail in Matt's store here. He brought along a fair selection of Q books. He had a copy of the Golden Ass there. The limited edition one. Signed and numbered by Robert Graves. A huge run of Penguin specials. I'd had a few of those prior to the show. This is Matt's run of books that he's got left between 1 and 500. A lot of the crime and the real rare ones have already been sold online, but there was a nice selection of books there. And this is my stock after it's been shopped a bit. In the end, I think I sold about 3 boxes of books, if you can believe it. So I felt I did very, very well. And really pleased to pass those on to new collectors. And of course, the very next day, I had the Zazardos All You Need Is Books book fair in Wiltshire. And I took all this along to that show as well. And that video is coming along a little bit later this week. And Puffins as well. Puffin storybooks. A few rarities I had out as well. And a few packs for people of particular authors. Here's a closer look at Andrew's store now. So he's got these all out now. In stock, some nice American ones, baby puffins. Some classics. He had a huge pile of Puffin Post. So I was able to get one which a friend of mine particularly wanted. And now we got, this is the guest speaker for the day was Peter Rand. Peter used to be a rep for Penguin in the late 1970s. It worked for them for a few years. Got to know K-Web very well. And Peter did a talk about his days as a Penguin rep. He didn't particularly want to be filmed, so I just took some pictures and filmed the bits and pieces that he brought along with him. But it was a really entertaining speech, and I very much enjoyed it. And there he is in action. But yeah, it was great to listen to that. Thank you, Peter, for coming along. And now a little bit more closer look at Joe's stall. So Joe had some of the Felix Topolsky prints, and a great selection. He had a couple of a Prisoner of War editions. I had one of those off him, and some very, very cheap reprints. Now, I always like to show at the end of these videos the stuff that I managed to get at the show. So we'll go through that now. So these are my pickups from the show. So I got these off Joe Pearson, a couple of services editions, which are improvers on my own ones there. These were only like £5 each. And I picked up one Prisoner of War edition, which I was really, really pleased to get. It's got a faded spine, which is common with these. But yeah, delighted to get yet another POW one. I think I'm up to about 7 or 8 now on those. This was interesting. This was a homemade bound copy of The Thin Man, Dashiell Hammett. And this was it was the Penguin first from 1935, Penguin number 14, I think it is. But yeah, quite a nice bind up on that one. So it was pretty good. And also my first ever Argentinian Penguin. So it's not something I particularly decided to, think, I must get all the Argentinian ones, but it's nice to have an example. And I did actually see some at the Penguin paperback show the following day. One of my viewers came along with 11, and it was really interesting to see them all together, because the sort of the Penguin logo and the design changes slightly. But yeah, very, very interesting. This one's quite tanned, but it was from Andrew Mallon, and it was only £10, which I didn't think was too bad for a representation of something that, these must be pretty rare, mustn't they? So I was really pleased to get those bits there. From Tim's stall, this was this big hardback on Pevsner. I'm not sure how I missed this one when it actually got published, so I was pleased to get that. I think it was only, it was pretty cheap. I think it was like, what was it, maybe just a few, £5 or £6, something like that. It was not dear. Yeah, £6. So that was pretty good. That's like a nice bookend to the Buildings of England series. I also got Penguin Modern Painter, which I didn't have. An odd copy of the Penguin Collectors Society that I didn't have as well, so I'm now down to about 4. I was particularly pleased to get this one from Tim Graham. This was the last Penguins progress I needed to finish the set. It's not perfect. The front is quite delicate in actual fact, but this is the one that's always missing from collections because it's just not the right shape. It is really good because it's got a feature on the publication of 10 Christie's, so I was really pleased to get that one. So that's really nice. I picked up one of these, so Tim had a real pile of these. This is the Pollux Theatre for it's done like a puffin picture format, and there was a big pile of these for Hamlet. So that was really nice. I picked up this one off Andrew as well. This is not actually for myself. I mean, he did have duplicates of them all. It's for a friend of mine, a huge Tolkien collector. And he asked me for this particular edition. And the reason why, I'll show you why, is because, as you know, Tolkien collectors are interested in Puffin 161, which is The Hobbit, Puffin's storybook. And in this particular issue, as well as having a feature on Arthur C. Clarke, but that's not it. It's a feature on Pauline Baynes. Look at this. And she did quite a bit for Puffin, of course. Not just The Hobbit, but loads of other jackets as well. So that was the reason why. So it was for this double-page spread on Pauline Baynes, which is very, very cool indeed. No pictures of The Hobbit, sadly, just the Chronicles of Narnia, but very nice. It is too, so quite a nice sort of related bit of memorabilia, that. I also picked up this rather fetching Puffin mug. How cool is that? For Black Beauty, I've got loads of Puffin mugs, but I haven't got that one, or Puffin one. I got some, that was Andrew's latest one, so this is Andrew Mallon, a Penguin collector. And then we got some bookmarks. Once again, these are from Tim's stall. I think I've got these already, well, some of these anyway, but I just love Ephemera. I absolutely love it, so I picked all of this stuff up. I just love the bold graphics, even the 70s stuff, which is a little bit past my normal period. That, of course, is early 2000s, but I have got quite a run of young James Bond stuff, so I picked that up as well. Now, you'll also know that Matt was there. He's been selling his granddad's collection of stuff, and Matt and I've been helping Matt sort the collection out, and I did pick up some other bits and pieces from Matt, but I need to make a little bit more room first. So I've pulled the camera right out so you can have a look at these fantastic mailer boxes. So I've got a set of these 3, but they've been made up, and you can imagine, a sort of Penguin book would fit beautifully in that. Fold the back round, then you address it and pop it in the post. So that's what they were designed for. So I've picked up 5 sets. I picked up 5 of each from Tim. There's the other one. I think they're just gorgeous, and the fact that these have been unmade is particularly good, I think. And there's the other one. So really, really nice. So very, very pleased to get 5 sets of those. I'm definitely going to keep those as trade pieces as well. So that was good. And also, while we got the camera zoomed right out, I picked this one up off Matt. This is really great. I've seen this one before, but never actually been able to get one. So it was published around the time of Penguin's 21st anniversary. And it's the photos in it are the ones from the Penguin story Q21. And I think this might be a candidate, perhaps, for the Penguin Collectors Society to reproduce as a special publication. Just my 2 cents there, but just look at this, how great it is. It's not, sadly, it's not all on Penguin, but there's some great bits that are. And it does reproduce a fair bit of what's actually in the Penguin story, but even so, it's unique in its own particular way. And as you can see, it's just terrific, but you'll recognize the pictures. These were the ones from Q21, but still particularly nice to see them, much bigger size than was in the paperback. So, and this is a pretty nice copy of this one, and the cover itself is huge, isn't it? It's not been cleaned up or anything yet, but yeah, fantastic to see that copy of Printing Review. And I picked up some other bits and pieces off Matt. The other one I think might be of interest to the Collectors Society is this one, which is the paperback by Desmond Fowler. And this was privately printed, and it was a reprint of a speech that Desmond Fowler gave to people in the book trade, I believe. And Alan Lane did the foreword for it. Because he was there. Yeah, paper read to the Double Crown Club in April 1959, all about the early origins of the paperback. So very, very interesting indeed. And it's not particularly long, so I would think that this might be one, once again, it might well be a candidate to be reprinted by the Collectors Society. So something else to bear in mind, but called The Paperback, Desmond Fowler. I don't know if anyone's seen that before, but very, very interesting. Now, I also picked up a few bits of ephemera from Matt at the show. So just another copy of the Collector I didn't have. Some more bookmarks. The original, rather than the reprint of the Alan Lane Memorial. I was really pleased to get that. And another odd issue of Puffin Post, which was also very cool to get. Lots of little catalogues and booklets now, which I'll go by Hemingway. So some of these are 60s, and that's like late 60s. Some of these spill into the 1970s, but all are very, very nice. Not all of them I in fact, none of this stuff I had, and I didn't double up on any of this, so I was really pleased to get it. This was also particularly nice. So I've seen the bookmark quite a bit, but I've not seen this little fold-out catalogue for the 25th year. And I love the graphics on it. I just love them. This sort of stuff is terrific, I think. So, yeah, that was particularly nice. I really like that one, that little one. And for some reason, that was the last sort of classified list I didn't have. I didn't have the 54 one. A Penguin Classics quiz. I'd not seen this one before. Quite a nice bookend to your classics collection, I would think. I'll get this all cleaned and bagged and processed in a sort of dedicated video coming up quite soon. This is quite nice. This is Penguins, Pelicans, Puffin for schools and colleges in 1960. A little bit more unusual. Got some Puffin catalogues now. I'll go through these in a bit more detail in a future video. This is the one for 1972 and 71. Puffins on Parade. All beautiful stuff. I hardly had any Puffin catalogues. This one's not dated, so I'm not sure exactly when this one dates from. I haven't gone through it every page or tried to date it via the titles, but that was a really nice one. One for 1966. And this one is much more a pamphlet. Looks about 1970, something like that. Oh yeah, 1970. 67, 68 catalogue. And the first 50 Peregrines, which is quite nice. So slide them out the way and get yet more bits of ephemera in that. So we got more bookmarks. These seem to be part of a series. These ones here, which are really nice. So not familiar with those, but I think they're like mid to late 70s. These ones, these bookmarks, but they all seem to be as part of a set by the looks of it. So, themed bookmarks. So really, really pleased with those. Another odd one here, which is Penguin Reference Library. 74. So a few more bookmarks, but there's more. So this was really great. I mean, this one does turn up. It's the facsimile of Puffin Storybook #1. Really nice with the accompanying bookmark though, 1941 to 81, which is when this one got published, this facsimile. Yeah, special anniversary edition, published in 1981. I'm not sure, did they do one for the 50th? Can't quite remember. This was good. So this is one of the cloth-bound Penguin reading cases. I really like these, but my one of the blue one here has got a faded spine. So this one's looks like it's been used because the little label has been peeled off. But it's got a copy of Penguin #1 in, but it's a 7th printing, but it looks better than my 7th printing, so I think I might be doing a little upgrade. So that's really nice. I really like these cloth covers, and if anyone's got any in any of the other colours which were produced, I'd be very, very interested because I really like them. Matt brought along his Q books. There was a couple of copies of this one at the show. Joe had one, but I picked up Matt's one. So this is Q number 1. So really, really pleased to get this one. And a few others in the Q series that I didn't have. So I'm pretty close to finishing that now. I just need the Puffin Diary and Nothing Personal, which it looks like I've tracked a copy of that one down. So some of the miscellaneous Qs here. And then to finish off, the last thing I had was a little run of Penguin Specials, which were upgrades. So you see, Matt brought along his big box of Penguin Specials. I was after some upgrades to my existing copies, and there was a couple that I was missing. So he's completed my set now. So these are the ones that were either upgrades, because you know these 60s ones, they got really susceptible spines. The spines just fade on them so easily. So that was that. This was a great one because this was published in America. I think it's looking at soldiers going into Vietnam. So it was first published in the USA. So I was really, really pleased to get this. I don't know how difficult it is to actually track a copy down. But I was pleased to get it. So this particular number, special 233, 95 cents. So yeah, US one. A couple of early ones which we were able to upgrade. So that was a really nice copy of that. This one, still a better copy than what I've got, which was cool. And once again, these are later 60s ones that I've got them, but they got faded spines on. So really, really pleased to get these replaced. So there we go, and a much better copy of the Biafra story than the one I've currently got. So I think I've done absolutely amazing. What a superb haul. A great day. Really enjoyed the Penguin Collectors Society, and if you're watching this thinking about joining the society, you really, really need to head on over to their website, and I always link to the Collectors Society in the descriptions down below, so you can head on over there and check out some of the other resources. Andrew Mallon's got his own website, and penguins.co.uk, as has the Penguin First Editions, the superb resource online. So a few bits of extra reading should you wish to delve in even further. Thanks to everyone that I met at the show. It was such a great show, and I really will try. They haven't announced when next year's is going to be, so if it's not massively northern, I will do my absolute best to head on to that one as well, because it was well worth it. Thanks to everybody who's watched this video today. If you've enjoyed it, do please give it that thumbs up. Do please hit the subscribe button if you've not already for regular vintage Penguin Books content, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.